Back in February 2021, EA threw a cool $1.2 billion at Codemasters and said, "We love what you do, just keep being you." You know, the same way people promise that they'll stay friends after a breakup. Codemasters, the studio behind Dirt, Grid, Slightly Mad Studios and their Project Cars series, and of course the F1 games, were now part of the EA empire. Racing game heaven, right? Well, in today's video we are going to look and see what the hell is going on at Codemasters. Not long after the acquisition closed, major changes began. By mid-2021, Codemasters' original CEO and CFO had stepped down. Their exits weren't fully explained, but they are among the first signs of restructuring under EA's leadership. Soon after, Codemasters Cheshire, best known for the Dirt games and its involvement in rally titles, was merged into Criterion Games, the new assignment assisting with development on Need for Speed Unbound. This marked a shift in Codemasters' role from leading multiple unique IPs to becoming a support arm for EA's broader priorities. While this isn't uncommon, it immediately reduced the studio's size and it began to show. So now Codemasters were already looking less like an award-winning studio and more like a side dish for EA's main course. By 2022, the impact of EA's acquisition had become more visible. Project Cars was officially cancelled. Slightly Mad Studios, the team behind the franchise, were also dissolved. Although most developers from that team have gone on to create a new game which will be out later this year, Project Motor Racing. And the Grid and Dirt franchise have been quietly shelved. Publicly, EA stated that it was rationalising its portfolio to focus on higher performing IPs. Internally, these cancellations gutted Codemasters' creative output. Then, in December 2023, EA began layoffs across the development teams, including Codemasters. Multiple long-time employees and department leads were let go during a wave of internal restructuring. The studio is also now operating at a reduced capacity with an increasingly narrow scope. In November 2023, Codemasters launched EA Sports WRC, the studio's first rally title under EA's banner, and with the WRC license, it was guaranteed to be a hit. It was a major step forward from the Dirt Rally series. Although lacking in some areas, the driving physics was solid, improved stage designs were good, and a higher praise from longtime fans. Post-launch support included seasonal content and 2 DLC packs, indicating a long-term commitment to the title. However, in May 2025, EA announced that support for WRC was ending, and that the World Rally Championship license would be moved over to Nacon. These guys were the formal developers of the WRC games. This was done without any formal press release, just a quick update on social media. In fact, speaking of social media, Codemasters' Twitter account has literally been deactivated, so you can't get to it anymore. Despite the strong community reception, the project was cut off. Codemasters' final attempt at rally excellence was discontinued less than 2 years after release. So where are we now? What do we have left? Well, we don't have a Grid game anymore, we have no Dirt games, we have no Project Cars, and we have no WRC. All we're left standing with now is the F1 series, and technically Need for Speed, but even that's on life support. Unbound did receive solid post-launch support, probably the best in Need for Speed history, but that was mainly because Criterion simply cared. They had a small group of passionate developers who were working with the fans and addressing their feedback. It made Unbound a much greater game as a result. However, all of these developers have reportedly been moved to help out with Battlefield. That's right, while Need for Speed is in a garage collecting dust, its mechanics are off fighting a war. But don't hold your breath on a Need for Speed until 2026, maybe later, which is a very long time in racing game years, meaning there's going to be a 4-year wait between Unbound and the next Need for Speed. Minimum. At least the F1 games are still going strong, at least commercially, but even that journey has had its own potholes. F1 2021 was good, and to be honest it was good because EA didn't meddle with it. F1 22 introduced F1 Life, which was a weird lifestyle hub that no one asked for. It also came with supercars that just felt out of place, and not to mention the physics were a total disaster in this game. F1 23 on the other hand made a comeback with better handling, and it brought the return of Breaking Point, which was the single player story mode that was in F1 21. And F1 2024 was quite mixed, also plagued with handling issues like F1 22. Now, from what I've heard so far, F1 25 has arguably been EA's best received F1 game since the takeover. A lot of very good reviews coming out of it and positive feedback from the fans. I'm yet to try it out. According to some insiders on the rumour mill, F1 25 may be the final F1 title developed by Codemasters. Future iterations could be handed off to EA Vancouver or any other internal studios, potentially built entirely on Frostbite. If that happens, then the final encore for Codemasters' unique handling model, track design philosophy and motorsport first approach could be lost entirely. I think this would be a terrible move for EA and Codemasters, as these games obviously are still making their money. They're still investing quite a lot into them and they're marketed really well, unlike other racing games by EA. Although speculations of somehow adding battle passes or some form of microtransaction beyond cosmetic upgrades are still unconfirmed, would you be surprised if EA pulled it off? I could see that happening, as they've done it with other sports titles. At some point, EA once had the most stacked racing studio lineup in gaming history. Codemasters, Slightly Mad Studios, Criterion, and loads of iconic franchises and licenses. It was like the racing game Avengers. But instead, over just 4 years, they've shut down major projects, disbanded entire teams, and narrowed their racing portfolio to a single annualized series. Codemasters' legacy was built on variety, innovation, and passion for motorsport. That legacy now stands on uncertain ground. The studio's name may still appear on F125, but to many people, values and design philosophies that defined this franchise, they're long gone. Racing game fans deserve better, the devs deserved better, and honestly Codemasters deserved better. Let's just hope that things improve from here on out, as several layoffs have been announced. Although EA have confirmed that Codemasters is here to stay, despite rumours. So what do you think? Has EA run Codemasters into the ground, or is there still hope for a late game overtake? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Which Codies game was your favourite? And finally, thank you all so much for watching, hope to see you all very soon.